From the beginning, Creator gave us salmon, and that's who we are as Yurok people. If we didn't have salmon, we would actually cease to exist who we are as people culturally. We might live as people, but we wouldn't be who we were intended to be by Creator. The preamble of the Constitution clearly states that one of the first obligations of the tribe is to protect the resources of the Yurok tribe.
The last several generations of Yurok people have undergone a traumatic and tremendous loss of tribal resources. They've lost their property, they've lost opportunities to access resources for subsistence, commercial, economic purposes, for cultural purposes. And those subsistence opportunities in particular have created a tremendous toll on Yurok people. On the Klamath River, one of the most precious resources of the Yurok tribe and Yurok people was taken away from us, or was almost pushed to extinction. That's the salmon resources. And that happened because of actions by others and actions that were out of the control from Yurok people.
Every single run of fish in the Klamath River has declined significantly from its historic levels.
You could fight a lot of different ways, you could expend a lot of money, but it doesn't do a lot of good to fight these issues if in the end you don't have any fish.
There's been a long history for the tribe in working through Klamath River issues, and we've won some battles, we've lost some battles. But the one thing that hasn't happened that needs to happen is there hasn't been a major change for fish. There hasn't been a positive change for fish where we know our fish are going to be protected and that future generations of fish are going to be there for our future generations of children. The tribe has tried a number of things in the Klamath to work on protecting and restoring our fish runs and working to get more water. Traditionally, we've had a long-standing conflict with irrigation interests in the Klamath River basin. It became real clear to us, and I believe it became more clear as well to the irrigation interests, that we're both not getting what we need. We're both fighting each other. We're both spending a tremendous amount of money, and our communities have no more certainty, no more stability today than they did when we started the fight. So the Yurok tribe, along with the Yurok tribe and others, reached out to the irrigation interest, and to their credit, they decided to sit down with us and begin to talk about how we could begin to build trust, how we could begin to build a relationship, and how we could begin to think about talking about how to change things.
I think from the very beginning, the tribe has wanted to protect the river and the fish, and we've come to the realization that working together, where everyone contributes something, everyone gains, and everyone gives up something, will protect what we're fighting for in a shorter period of time. It could take decades to win an issue, and what would that really do to the fish in the meantime? So we want to work together to come to a solution quicker.
We've embarked on a settlement negotiation process. And through that settlement negotiation, we, along with the other 26 parties, are working on 2 agreements. One agreement is the Klamath River Basin Agreement, Restoration Agreement, that we're talking with you about today. The other agreement that has got to be reached as well for the Klamath Restoration Agreement to be valid is an agreement with Pacific Corps to remove 4 dams. So the Klamath River Basin Restoration Agreement that we're talking about today is not valid unless we are successful in negotiating an agreement with Pacific Corps to remove 4 dams.
First of all, it results in dam removal. And dam removal gives fish access to areas of cold water. It improves water quality. It gets rid of toxic algae blooms. It does a whole number of things, but most importantly, it allows fish access to hundreds of miles of habitats which are currently blocked right now. It's so important, in fact, that we believe that we can resurrect the lost wild spring Chinook runs on the Klamath if we take the dams out. We can resurrect the summer steelhead runs on the Klamath, and we think that it'll be a key element of the recovery of coho salmon, maybe even leading to delisting in the future. It's that important.
The Klamath River Restoration Agreement has a number of specific areas that are covered under that agreement. First off, the agreement provides more water for anadromous fish, for fishery resources. It does that by working with agricultural interests in the basin to reduce their demand, and it does that by providing for additional storage in Upper Klamath Lake and providing for additional inflow into Upper Klamath Lake. So it provides more water for fish.
These flows will work for fish because they compare favorably with some of the flow studies that we've done, although they don't match them in all time steps. And these flows are combined with a number of other significant restoration actions, including dam removal and large-scale river restoration and lake restoration and improvements to water quality. When I put all of those things together, and in particular the performance of the flows in dry years, it was my conclusion that these flows would bring about the restoration of fish in the Klamath River.
The agreement also, as I said earlier, provides for a limitation on agricultural deliveries in the Klamath project. In exchange for providing more water for fish, agriculture has agreed to reduce their demand if the funding and when the funding is going to be made available. So the agreement provides for funding for demand reduction. The agreement also provides for affordable power sources for the agricultural communities, both on and off the Klamath River project. There's a section in the agreement that provides for regulatory assurances so that when anadromous fish make it, salmon and steelhead, when they make it above the dams into Upper Klamath Lake and into agricultural areas, that the agricultural community can be covered by developing habitat conservation plans or some other general plans that provide for fish screens, other fisheries protection. So when fish get up into the Klamath River, there needs to be some regulatory assurances that they've done their part to protect fish. Those assurances need to be all carried out under existing law. Nothing in the agreement preempts or reduces the regulatory obligations of the Endangered Species Act, for example. This agreement also provides that the counties and county impacts, potential county impacts due to dam removal, such as the loss of taxes and those type of things, will be recognized and addressed. When it comes to the tribes, there's a tribal section that provides that the tribes are collaborative fish managers in the technical and other advisory teams that are going to be necessary to implement the agreement.
In the future, the lake and the river will be managed as a single ecosystem unit, the way it should have been all along.
This agreement also will provide for the development of a fish reintroduction plan. How are we going to get anadromous fish back up into the upper basin? Where are they going to go? How are they going to survive? What are the stocks of fish that we have to deal with? There will be